Welcome, friends. My name is Avinash Gorakshakar, and I welcome all of you to another interesting episode of Konexio HighFlyers. Friends, in these episodes, we talk to you about emerging companies from emerging sectors and explain their company's business model, their growth journey, their future prospects. And in this process, we also introduce the promoter of these companies so that all of us can understand the company's operations better. And today, friends, we have got a very interesting company by the name of Eco Recycling Limited, and we have the privilege and the pleasure of having the chairman and managing director of the company, Mr. B.K.Soni. Mr. Soni, thank you very much for sparing your valuable time with us today. It's a pleasure to talk to you, and I'm quite sure that we'll be able to understand your company and the sector in a very detailed way from you. So I think we can start now.
Thank you, Mr. Avinash, for giving me this opportunity to speak to you.
सोनी जी, मेरे को एक बात बताइए. First question, which is very elementary, for me as well as all our investors, is that if you could give us some thoughts about the entire eco recycling industry, both from a global perspective and a domestic perspective. How big is this opportunity? What is recycling, doing here, and what is the kind of potential you see for our company in this area? If you could, start with this and add some color for us.
Sure, why not? So, thank you so much once again. And let me just start with the global size of the industry. As you better know, Mr. Avinash, that the consumption of electrical and electronic equipment is increasing substantially with every year to pass. And India being consumer of electrical and electronic equipment, not to that extent than the leading other developed nations are. So obviously there is a much more scope of consumption going to be higher in our country, and therefore when consumption increases, obviously the generation of electronic waste will also increase proportionately. If I can share the few numbers with you, globally the market size of electronic consumption is $3,750 billion, which is consisting of about $150 billion worth of commodities. And if we go for the recovery of all this material, we need to spend about $75 billion to recover all these commodities. And we can redeploy this recovered commodities for manufacturing of the future consignment, future manufacturing. So coming back to India, India generates close to about 4 to 5 million metric ton of electronic waste annually, and which is equal to about $5 billion worth of industry in India. Hardly about a few percentage of that is being recycled in a formal manner. There is a bigger scope available than what has been really achieved so far, which is very, very nominal as compared to the prospects available before us. In this regard, and to regulate the industry, the Government of India, Ministry of Environment and Forest, Central Pollution Control Board, have started the e-waste management rules in the year 2011, which were rewritten in 2016, and to plug up certain gaps, again it has been revised and rewritten in 2022, which has become effectively from 1st April 23 to regulate the industry. Now, under this regulation, the most important provision is relating to extended producer's responsibility, which means to say that if you have purchased brand A in the market of any item of electronic, that particular brand is responsible to take back from your end, from your office, from your home, the item which you want to discard it for recycling purpose. So the target has been given by the government to all the producers that whatever you have sold in the previous years, you have to take back from the consumer, maybe a corporate consumer or individual customer, but you have to take it back and see that it goes for the formal recycling or scientific recycling, but does not go in the wrong hands, where the data breach may happen, where the unenvironment friendly disposal is being done. So it has to be protective from environment and ecology point of view, as well as from data destruction point of view. These are the conscious call has been taken.
What is e-recycling? What is the kind of services which the company offers? If you could tell us, now within the recycling market, what is it that the company actually does? If you could tell us something about your services which you offer to customers.
Thank you. So we started the journey in the year 2004-5. The first mover in India. We started or pioneered the concept of recycling of electronic waste in India. It's almost 2 decades are now getting over. And what we provide is right from the collection from your door or removing from your desk, collecting it, packing it, transporting it, and bringing it to our facility for the purpose of dismantling or refurbishment. And once one of the two activities are being done with the particular equipment, we generate different commodities in the form of metals, plastic, glass, and hazardous substances. The plastic, glass, and metals are being reused by the respective manufacturing industry, and the hazardous waste goes to CHWTSDF for disposal in an environment friendly manner. This
Okay.
is the major activity, main activity of recycling. But along with that, we do refurbishment of equipment like laptops and desktops are being refurbished, and those are being resold in the market for further use.
Okay.
Third most important service we do is a data destruction. So when I collect electronic devices which may contain hard disk or any kind of data device, obviously you must be concerned or you will be concerned about your data confidentiality or it should not go into the wrong hands. Then we take care of that. We sanitize those data, and if required, we shred the hard disk to completely destroy it. And this service is being preferred by all the large NBFCs, banks, financial institutions, stock exchange, insurance companies, large corporates, and offices.
Okay. Soniji, now another question which is related to the business. Like our business is largely a B2B business. Please correct me if I'm wrong. Now, tell me one thing that within our B2B customer base, which could be the industry segments which we cater to, and which are some of our active customers. If you could tell us some of the names that will actually help us understand your company's operations better.
See, why B2B only presently? And majority of the business is B2B presently is primarily because of the two or three reasons which I can spell out first. One is there is a legal compliance. Secondly, they understand the environmental compliances. And thirdly, the quantity what they generate versus an individual generates are too significantly different. At this point of time, neither the government nor Eco has a focus that many houses can be tapped versus major quantity is first tapped. Whatever the maximum quantity, wherever it is getting generated, it should be tapped and recycled properly. Reaching out to individuals, serving to individual consumers is not difficult, but it's not cost effective sometimes, or most of the time, I must say. Because you and me, in our houses, we are using one single appliance, or two appliances, or two computer systems, and all, but not that quantity. So that is why it is B2B more. And going forward, so far as the C2B collection is concerned, Eco has developed a mobile application in the name of Book My Junk. We serve in the city of Mumbai presently. If you have any kind of electrical and electronic device which you want to discard, simply log in, simply register your name on that, provide your address, and we will deploy our vehicle to collect it free of cost from your end. So we choose environment conscious individuals also to serve.
Okay. No, but in terms of the active customer base, Soni ji, agar iske bare mein, if you can tell us something like, currently, what is the size of the customer base? If you could tell us broadly, maybe not customer specific wise, but broadly, what is the size of the customer base we are actually currently handling, from the B2B market? If you could give us some number, that would give us an idea about the scale of operations, companies currently.
So scale of operation may not be directly related to the number of customers, because number of customers that may not be generating every year same customer. Electronic waste is not getting generated every year or every month or every quarter. So what happens if suppose over a period of time we might have served more than 500 customers, but out of those 500 customers in a period of 20 years even 50 or 100 remains keep on changing. So number of customers may be large, but in a year, how many you are serving is more important.
Okay, fine. Soniji, now tell me one thing. In each of the product segments you operate, like you said, you collect laptops, you collect electronic items. Now, how is the pricing decided on the raw material side? The manufacturer which gives you that product basically for disposing of. do they charge some kind of cost to you, or is it given free of cost to you? First, that is the point. And secondly, when you sell your final product to specific segments, how is the pricing in your product categories decided? If you could give us some understanding on that.
Okay, great. So as far as in Indian market is concerned presently, whether it is individual customer or corporate customers, do expect some monetary gain out of this. Whenever we are even discarding newspapers, we fetch some value for that. And I am not against that particular model at this point of time in India, because the cost of collection and cost of recycling, cost of disposal of hazardous waste is far lower as compared to the developed nations. Therefore, there is a gap with the recycler that they can afford to pay a price to the large customers. I mean B2B also. As far as B2C is concerned, it's challenging. So we pay for that for sure. At least 95% of my customer do charge me, and we pay for that. 5% customers who are multinational companies do not have the policy of charging because they follow a vendor relationship, and the vendor they generally don't charge. So we collect it free of cost, and we transport at our cost and expenses. As far as the realization is concerned, as I mentioned, we generate three basic commodities: metal, plastic, and glass. And this under metal also there are a number of items are there, like ferrous, copper, aluminium, gold, silver. In case of plastic also there are a number of types of plastic is there. So these are all reusable commodities which goes to the respective smelters for further utilization, and we fetch value from them.
Okay, understood. I think very nicely mentioned by you, Soniji. Now, Soniji, tell
Thank
me
you.
one thing in terms of the competitive landscape in our industry. See, we basically are one of the leading players. You said we started about 20 years back. Now, who are the other competitors in our industry? Are these largely unorganized players, or are there any listed companies which compete with us? And how big is this market? Like, is the competition very fierce, or is there space for everyone to grow here? If you could tell us.
Great. So the opportunity is very large, as I mentioned to you, about 4 million metric ton even, and of 50%, which is a target of the central government. So 2 million metric ton, which is equal to $2.5 billion worth of material. The opportunity is significantly very high, and there is a scope for 100 more Ecorico to participate in the growth. As far as the competition is concerned, we are the only listed company in the on the Bombay Stock Exchange in the e-waste management segment. So therefore, we don't have the statistics of the other competitor who are bigger or smaller, or who are real competitor. But there are many companies unlisted segment which are certainly large enough, or maybe larger than Ecorico, and doing good business, good practices, and but still there is a great opportunity available for more 100 Ecorico to come into the market.
Okay. So fine. Soniji, now, a simple question like, we have been in this business for a long time. How would you differentiate, our company vis-a-vis other players? Like, of course, we would not like you to take any names, but typically in terms of the competitive mode which we enjoy, like, you have been handling this business for a long time. Obviously, you understand the business very well. In your kind of words, what could be the qualitative kind of competitive advantages which our company enjoys vis-a-vis, maybe the unorganized fellows? So, if you could share 2-3 points so that we can understand, the qualitative merits of your company better.
Thank you. First and foremost, you will positively appreciate one thing, that knowingly I am a listed company, then none other than the Ecorico is listed in the particular segment. So I have a CCTV around me in terms of corporate compliances, legal compliances, SEBI compliances, stock exchange compliances, GST, income tax, and all these compliances, which are completely as a CCTV on my every action of mine is there. And this has been consciously chosen by me from the day one itself, that we will do this business with a complete transparency. And because why am I here? When the kabadis are there and who are working 100% market shared by them, why did I walk in? Why did I come in the segment? Primarily only one reason, that if they are not meeting the environmental compliances either willingly or do not have the resources to deploy, therefore there is a need of formal recycling in India. And that was the driving force. And when I chosen that path, that I would like to provide a very environment and ecological conscious practices, then there is a compelling reason for me that I have to be different than the informal sector, and therefore we have chosen this path.
Basically, you mean transparency and accountability are the two hallmarks of our company, which unfortunately in the unorganized sector are not visible. So this is the clear differentiation of eco recycling. I mean, is my understanding right, sir?
You are absolutely right. Either they are not willing to or do not have the resources at their disposal, or whatever their reasons are, but
Okay,
this is the main reason. You are right.
fine. Soniji, now one question which I saw in your presentation, if you could please explain and tell us the strategic financial support which you got from PDB under the Department of Science and Technology. Now, what is this exactly and how will this benefit our company? If you could please tell us.
Great. Sure, why not? So, transformation of the sector. I mean, whatever is today, which is dominated, is still dominated by the informal sector. And as I mentioned previously, that either they don't have resources or don't have an access to right technologies. If I just club along all these points, why are they dominating? Why they don't want to invest in? Whether they don't have any access to technology? Put together, recycling on wheels have been developed a concept. So on a truck, there is a shredding facility which we are ready to provide it to informal sector, that if you deploy this truck and do the collection to recycling under the truck itself, then you can join the bandwagon of the formal recycling system without impacting your health, safety, and environment. This was the driver to derive this particular innovation, and for that purpose, I approached to Technology Development Board on the call of the Prime Minister only. This particular, Waste Management Technologies were invited to participate in the support from the Technology Development Board. We also participated in that, and we have been chosen by them in the e-waste management segment. And we have been sanctioned a loan of ₹6 crore at a very concessional rate, which we will be deploying for rolling out this particular innovation. And I'm very proud to mention that just about 3 days before only, Innovation Association has covered Eco Recycling Limited and Recycling on Wheels in their top 100 Indian innovations.
Okay. I think very nicely mentioned by you, and congratulations, sir, for this achievement. Soniji, now another development which I saw in your presentation is that you all have also have a strategic partnership with CEMET to revolutionize the lithium battery recycling. Now on this, what does company plan to do, and what are the kind of growth prospects for the company going ahead from this particular segment?
Great. So lithium ion batteries, presently what kind of lithium ion batteries we are handling is from the mobile phone and from the laptop. The small batteries, maybe coming from the toys and other small items, but those small batteries, and numbers are humongous of these batteries. 100 crore users are there on the mobile phone. You can imagine at least 200-300 crore batteries out of this itself. Everyone has one or the other extra device at home. Similarly, in case of the laptops and desktops and toys and games, number of batteries, and these batteries are generally going to the informal market or into the dustbins when they are useless, but containing a lot of good material, lot of valuable material, which are known as precious and rare earth metals in that. CMET has developed a technology to recover all these valuable metals out of this. Ecorico selected this particular technology looking at the kind of experience CMET has and the kind of comfort, rather they have given a confidence about the recovery of what are the metals are there in that. So we have chosen that particular technology and deployed that. First step has already been taken of the basic process we have already installed. Now we are going for the segregation of various metal out of the black mass.
So by when will this entire project be operationalized, Soniji, if you could tell us?
So basic process that I mentioned, we have already completed. And now the second stage of the segregation of various metal, hopefully by March, although my plans is to complete by February, but hopefully by March it should be absolutely up and running.
Okay. Okay, now coming to your financial numbers, Soniji, I think very strong numbers reported by you in quarter 2 of FY24. So first of all, accept my congratulations. I wanted
Thank
just
you.
one small input. Our revenue was 7.10 crores compared to 3.61 crores. So almost turnover has doubled, on a YY basis. I wanted to understand how much of this was contributed by the volume growth and the value growth, or was it a combination of both volume and value? If you could, please
Both.
tell us.
You are absolutely right. It's a combination of both, no doubt, yes. Besides this, we have also done international business where we have the partners in the global market in more than 100 countries. And we are serving to three of our clients in the global market who are present in those countries, but want Ecorico to service them, you know. So we have appointed counter partners in the respective countries, which to whom we delegate the job in the respective countries, and we earn a fees from our global clients, and share of that is also included in that.
Okay. Okay. Understood. Now, Soniji, one more thing which I wanted to understand is that what is the overall capacity utilization of our facility? I understand our capacity currently is about 7,200 tons per annum. So, इसमें से sir अभी currently what is the capacity utilization roughly like?
It is 30% only of 7,200 metric ton presently.
Okay.
We envisage by March we will reach to almost 60% of the capacity utilization. But at the same time, we are setting up the second facility with the 18,000 metric ton, because we foresee a great prospects moving forward, and the kind of discussion we are holding with our suppliers. We are very confident that we will reach to 25,200 metric ton by March 24 and utilize that capacity by March 26 for sure.
Okay. Okay. And just to get little more clarity on this 18,000 ton capacity which you are telling us, what could be the kind of capex which will be involved, Soniji here? How much money will it cost us, and how will this be funded?
So about 45 to 50 crore rupees kind of investment is required for 18,000 metric ton, and we have already invested 30 crore plus in the same, and hopefully by March we will invest the remaining amount also of 15 to 20 crore in the process in the plant and machineries.
Okay. Just a related question to your quarter 2 performance. Margins have been very strong. So, can we expect these margins to continue in the second half also, or is it a seasonal business like the first half is normally good, the second half is slightly dry, or is it a very stable business? All the 4 quarters are, actually more or less similar. So, on the margin front, can we expect these margins to be at least sustained? What is your view, sir?
So on the lighter side, the generation of waste is never seasonal; it's regular.
Exactly.
So every day you are generating waste. Whether you are
Okay.
producing or not, waste generation is constantly happening. Whether it is a
Okay.
food waste to water waste to electronic waste, anything and
Okay.
everything. I mean, waste is happening automatically. So
Okay.
not a seasonal business in any case. Yes,
Okay.
companies do have their cycle of discarding. They may prefer March quarter, somebody may prefer June quarter. So likewise, the little bit of change in the volume may happen based on my client,
Yeah.
but otherwise it's not a seasonal business. And
Okay.
what was the second part of your question?
I said whether margins, what we have achieved in the first half, Soniji, will these margins be comfortably be sustained? At least second half, will it be similar to the first half, even without mentioning a number? If you could just tell us that, what is your comfort level? That will we continue to see this kind of margin even in the second half, or will there be some fluctuation up or down?
So margin is my focus always. Ecorico's focus remains on margin side very much, because for sustaining the kind of growth what we are envisaging, and without for borrowing at all, that's the first and foremost decision at our end. We don't want to borrow anything. We don't have even working capital, neither term loan. So we want to sustain on our margins only, and our profitability and liquid cash at our end. So that is first and foremost. So we focus on margin very much. Rather than volume, we prefer value driven
Okay.
proposition. And therefore, my clients are mainly multinational companies.
Okay. Okay. Okay, now coming to the working capital side of the business, as you mentioned, Soniji, what is the normal working capital cycle in our business? Right from the time you take the raw materials from the client, you do the crushing and then the separation, and then you sell it to the customers. Normally, what is the kind of working capital cycle in our business? If you could, tell us in a very simple way.
Sure, why not? So broadly, if you assign the right from the collection from the doorstep of my client till it reaches to my factory and till I shred it and segregate it and sell it off in the market, it's a process of 3 weeks. It's a broadly
Okay.
about 3 weeks time. But as far as the working capital investment is concerned, is negative at our end because we have liquid assets at our disposal.
Okay. So basically, you mean 3 weeks is the overall working capital cycle, right from the collection till the till the time you get the money from the end customer for what you sell the recycled product. So can we assume it is 3 to 4 weeks? That's it.
Absolutely, you are perfectly right.
Okay. And Soniji, just another elementary financial question. In our business, what could be the normal asset turnover in our business? Like, you all are adding a huge capacity now. Already, you all are operating at, say, 30-35%. So, normally, asset turnover, what kind of number should we assume is a normal asset turnover in our business?
So as of now, it is not very great number because of the lower capacity utilization and large investment. But going forward, the equation will change substantially. Okay,
Okay.
once I reach to 25,000 metric ton capacity utilization, so let's say by March 26, I'm talking about. So we are talking about a kind of 350 crore kind of top line, you know. So
Okay.
when we are talking
Okay.
about 350 crore kind of top line versus 100 crore plus kind of investment in the plant machinery, land building and all. So we are talking about 1:3 or 1:4 kind of turnaround,
Okay.
you know,
Okay.
versus present number.
Understood. Last question, Soniji, which is very elementary, but which is very important. Post COVID, recovery has happened. COVID was, of course, a very abnormal event which impacted almost every sector, every company. In our business, you have been in this industry for a very long time. In our business, what is the key risk which is there in our business? See, obviously, our business is insulated from all kind of risk. Which is basically you said every day the waste comes to you. You have to generate. That there is no problem. बट टिपिकली हमारे धंधे में सबसे बड़ा रिस्क क्या होता है एंड हाउ डू यू मैनेज दैट रिस्क?
So first and foremost, again lighter way, I will put it. If somebody is doing very well, then they change their electronic devices very fast.
करेक्ट.
And if they are not doing well at all, they close their shop also very fast.
एग्जैक्टली.
So in both the cases, generation of electronic waste happens.
ओके.
So need not to worry from that risk point of view. So as I mentioned earlier, also generation of waste is an automatic process. Consumption may be controlled, but generation of waste you can't control. There is a lifespan of everything. If laptop can live a life of 3 years, let's say for example, it is after 3 years it is useless. Whether you used it for one day or if you have never used it, or even if you have used all the 3 years completely, irrespective of that, there is a lifespan.
करेक्ट.
So
I think
generation happens in both the cases, whether
I think very
corona or
well.
non-corona. Sorry to continue.
Yeah,
Please
yeah.
go ahead.
When I was wondering, that such kind of company model is definitely very robust, Soniji, because we get to hear very few companies talking about these kind of opportunities that business chalta rahega. So there is no issue about any material risk as of now. So I think nice talking to you, Soniji. I think it was really great to understand the company's operations from you in a nice, well articulated manner. And viewers, if you please like the video, please like it and share it. We like that all of you understand the company's operations better via this video. Soniji, once again, thank you very much for the time. Best wishes to you, your entire
Thank you
management team.
so much for giving me an opportunity to speak to you. And if my information helps the investor, it will be a pleasure.
Thank you.
My pleasure. Thank you so much.